Hey guys, Kevin Cage back with another cryptocurrency update. Hope all is well. If you do want to see charting, just basic TA, not even honestly, just going over some Fibonacci ratios and a Fib pivot point and showing you VeChain, ADA, XLM, XRP, just some typical crypto assets, comparing them to gold and silver markets. Go ahead and just watch the last 10 minutes of this video. Until then, I want to cover some additional news for XRP and the cryptocurrency space as a whole. We have a bunch of information today. I just want to play this 15-second clip to kick things off by Chris Larson, Executive Chairman of Ripple, and this is shared by Michael Zischek. He also has a YouTube channel.
Financial We're an enterprise company. We think enterprise is the way you're going to spread this the fastest. 300 financial institutions globally, covering 45 countries.
All right, so 300 plus institutions globally, 45 countries.
That can reach 1 billion people. That's today.
All right, and it can reach 1 billion people today, right? So 6.8 billion people left. Next up, so just to breeze through this, I'm sure you guys have already seen this a million times. I don't need to beat it into your head. So Matthew L.I.N.Y. sharing Christopher Giancarlo, aka Crypto Dad. It's a creepy name. XRP is not a security. While over at the CFTC, DLT was the future of swap regulations. Keep in mind, I remember that clip that we've shown on this channel, Jay Clayton, again, of the SEC, saying, if it's not in their jurisdiction, they don't have to claim that something is not a security. They'll only go after it if it's clearly a security. And then they said that even if there are crypto assets or DLT projects that started off with breaching some laws or security-like practices, yes, they might get in trouble, pay a fine, just like EOS did in early times. And guess what? They're fine. All right, just wanted to emphasize that it's far more likely that XRP will be classified as some type of commodity, utility exchange token, currency, who knows, all right? I'll keep my options open. So just something interesting, again, Matthew just sharing this regarding swaps. Keep an eye on this, and obviously even just referencing right here, the evolution of DLT could allow the CFTC and other regulators or entities to access swaps data automatically and seamlessly from reporting counterparties every time a swap is executed or updated on a particular blockchain without human intervention or the use of intermediaries. Again, talking about reliability, speed, cost reduction, etc. Well, why are we talking about the CFTC? Former chairman Christopher Giancarlo. Well, again, he's with the Digital Dollar Project. He's an advisor for Ripple, huge advocate of XRP, no surprise. All right. Next up, so Matthew L-I-N-Y, the Bank of England, again, another RippleNet partner. We remember Mark Carney in early days bashing the US dollar. That it means something, guys. Words really mean something. Normally, and I've said this probably 5 times in this channel, Mnuchin, Trump, they don't let people talk bad about the US dollar reserve status. And they always would usually fight back. But when Carney did, they let him. Because I think there may be a greater plan. I'm not saying it has anything to do with XRP. What I'm showing you is it's far more likely that we are going very digital and we are going to a more level playing field. Just like the internet democratizing information, we're trying to create financial inclusion. If DLT does not make this ecosystem more inclusive for everybody, it failed, in my opinion. Right? That's one of the biggest pressing matters for distributed ledger technology, one of the biggest benefits. Of course, disintermediation. Of course, inclusion. Of course, trust, mutual trust. But again, there's far more things happening. So again, Bank of England, RippleNet partner. We know that they've had many projects integrating and testing ILP. No surprise, Ripple's invention. Does not have a dollar shortage. They have direct liquidity from the Federal Reserve. All right, we've seen all the Federal Reserve documents, whether you're talking DC, whether you're talking St. Louis, they talk about XRP. It just goes on and on and on. All right, R3 Corda, obviously their platform is going to be a player in this ecosystem. I do believe they will use XRP someday. If you don't believe that, that's fine. To each their own. Time will tell all. Doesn't matter. I mean, my opinions will not matter one bit in this market, and that's the coolest thing about it. And that goes for everybody. Unless you're, someone really influential, but I do not consider myself that. Staff working paper, again, dollar shortage to central bank, July 2020. Keep in mind, the Bank of France, back in March, I think it was March, talking that CBDCs could actually be integrated and built on Ethereum or Ripple, meaning the XRP ledger. All right, I did see Lee SPQR's video. Awesome, super brief deep dive. I know we've covered a lot of the information, but Lee just put it out perfectly, going over, Project Jasper, Ubin, talking about Accenture, just, giving you guys that great taste, and that's only the tip of the iceberg. Just as he knows, it goes deep. I just think the success of this ecosystem, I think R3, they're going to be huge players in the future. Let me know your thoughts if you think that R3 is going to be interested utilizing XRP per the lawsuit back in the day. We still have no idea how much they settled on. Yes, I know that's controversial to even discuss. If you guys want to focus, on what you can see tangibly, do that as well. I think, I'm relatively happy with what I see, and corridors growing as well, right? Specifically, if Ripple wants to go public, we know that the timeline is kind of getting there. Coinbase, Circle, they're kind of expressing that they'll have to make a decision. I don't know. I'd be surprised if it's end of year. I'd see more next year. And I think since their valuation of, Ripple, for example, is 10 billion roughly, XRP is a portion of that. So it's in their best interest that the price goes up when they are finally ready to do so. All right. What I was referencing, though, because my mind's all over the place, is Lee even was showing, I believe it was him, showing that basically Ripple can actually communicate with, the ISO standards with compliant and non-compliant groups. That means something, guys. Again, interoperability above all. Tier 1, tier 2, liquidity, swap lines, you name it, all right? I'm sure many of you are already aware of all this. Bank of England regulators have been clear, unlike in social media, for which standards and regulations are only now being developed after the technologies have been adopted by billions of people. Again, laggard, guys. Why did you create the technology and now the standards and arguments and lawsuits are occurring today with, what's right or wrong on YouTube and Twitter? It's silly. Again, right here, the terms of engagement for any new systemic private payment system, because this is big boy money, guys, must be enforced well in advance of any launch. I think it's much harder to find real documentation nowadays than it was, 2 years ago at least. Now, this is my favorite word. What is it? Hegemonic. So as a consequence, and this is by Mark Carney, by the way, it is an open question whether such a new synthetic hegemonic currency, SHC, would be best provided by the public sector, perhaps through a network of central bank digital currencies. Remember the push. It's quite obvious public and private sector will work together. Governments, again, do not innovate, they adopt. All right. So this is back in 2019, as we can see, speech given by Mark Carney. We've talked about it a million times in the channel. Just wanted to refer back to it. Right here, Wrath of Kahneman. So Citi has hosted an American banker article that mentions Ripple briefly. It is a change in tone from some earlier documents. So again, you guys can, look here. It's just 2 pages, but essentially he just did a screenshot for us. So banks initially viewed Ripple, the company, as a competitor, though increasingly banks are partnering with Ripple. I agree. Again, they are not a disruptor. They don't want that vernacular. They are more of an enabler. All right, that bridge. And it's much more than just settlement with XRP. RippleNet is, an entire software full of benefits. All right, already showed you that. Right here, so Matthew LINY, so we have some RippleNet partners here, obviously, and you can see the digital euro testing with RippleNet partners. Again, something I don't really need to get into. I'm sure you guys are already aware of this. Next up, just wanted to show Michael Brooks, founder and president at Golance, and I know you guys are probably pretty familiar with them as well, as you can see here. And again, their website, lowest fees, freelancer, screenshots, reporting, global payments, etc. And they just kind of gave a quote about RippleNet recently joining on. As soon as I can find it again. So right here, status sharing. Golance leverages on-demand liquidity to deliver faster, cheaper payments to their global marketplace of freelancers. 500,000 worldwide. Freelancers, $70 million plus paid to freelancers, 7 minutes typical transfer processing time. And again, Michael Brooks says, we know that a lot of our freelancers are hypersensitive about how long it takes to be paid and how much it costs them. With RippleNet, we now have hyper-efficient, low-cost payments that are driving growth for our businesses. Thing is, with these types of freelancers worldwide, think how many countries they're in. And if you guys are aware of the correspondent banking network, how many of the illiquid corridors have direct pairs? Not many. There's, a lot of clunkiness and a lot of middlemen. Again, DLT, disintermediation, is one of the benefits. All right, we'll keep going. Michael, Val5 Links, sharing Japan. This is a RippleNet partner. Japan's largest banking firm, Mitsubishi UFJ Financial Group, is set to issue a digital currency in the second half of this year. We've already seen, many groups implementing their own digital currency. This is not always a threat to XRP or other crypto assets. Just so you know, there's going to be many permissioned systems as well. All right, so right here on CoinDesk, Japan's largest bank, second half of this year, we can see with this digital currency, it will be initially utilized in a smartphone payments application. Makes me think of OnePayFX and Pago by Santander. Again, but that's a lot, running on Ripple essentially, for member companies listed on Recruit's website. All right, we can kind of see the connections here. If you guys want to read more about that, again, MUFG is the world's 5th largest bank, 2nd largest bank holding company, according to Wikipedia, my favorite source. Sarcasm. And also, fun fact, they did invest into Securitize. Guess who else invested in them? Coinbase and Ripple. So even if you guys think Coinbase and Ripple are competitors, so to speak, or they don't like each other, or they have their own vested interests and they want to kind of take over and acquire, who and who, they still have kind of a vested interest, and they do want organizations where they both invest upon to do well, such as Securitize. All right, Securitize, I think, is going to do very successful and hopefully bridge that gap of people that, when they hear cryptocurrency, it's kind of keeps people on their toes. I think they're going to normalize it, make it a lot easier for everybody else to adopt this type of technology. All right, when they tokenize these assets, just digitize. They kind of want to keep it simple. So Gonzo XRP sharing this pretty cool article. I'm just going to read this quote that he essentially shared. I kind of went through it, and I just wanted to share this. So we know, Ripple joined the ISO standards body, one of the first and only groups that is focused on DLT. I see that as a very good thing. I see that, to be positive. I know that ISO has been delayed. People are freaking out about that in FedWire. But again, I think we're seeing what we want to see, besides current price, of course. So due to the fact that DLT is already decentralized and is a transparent way to keep records which are collaboratively produced and can be shared freely and published transparently, Ripple's solution that now also encompasses the ability to process messages that meet the ISO 20022 standard can soon prove to be a very attractive complete package to banks and financial institutions. And then imagine interoperating with compliant and non-compliant organizations. All Ripple's direct, not employees, their direct partners are regulated. Hence, Ripple is directly regulated as well. And this is what Monica Long and Michelle Bond have said of Ripple as well, actively working with the top 40 to 50 governments. Right here, PayPal, just regarding some crypto. So PayPal's reportedly partnered with Paxos to launch its crypto service. We're going to see more and more of this, of course, with many groups. Paxos handles all regulatory, technological, and liquidity aspects, while fintech firms take care of front-end experiences. Interesting, all right? Keep an eye on them. I know we've already heard about these other groups in crypto services. I'm sure a lot of you have already used these services as well, or, getting loans with SoFi, eToro. Kind of indifferent about this group. Just leave it at that. And then right here, before we get into the charts, so Anders Lundberg, guys, definite follow, great YouTube channel. I just like this. And again, Brad Garlinghouse, CEO of Ripple, has said this many times. In a way, we are plumbers. And again, remember Jay Clayton, we remember all of them saying, yes, the infrastructure, the plumbing is ready. We already have it there. Interesting. Right here, referring to liquidity, referring to true value money moving over the ledger value. You don't turn on the water until all the pipes are connected beneath the ground. You turn on the liquidity when the job is truly finished. The remittance, these low value payments for some of these on-demand liquidity corridors, yes, they're solving a real problem, but in my opinion, they're relatively small right now and they have a lot of potential, but the remittance is just turning on the water in the sink for a couple of seconds as a test. I love that. Now, some people think that's hype. I see the use cases. If you guys look at how bullish Ripple was in 2017, we have quoting, they went all the way from $27 trillion pre-funded around the globe in capital that's trapped, and now they went down all the way to like 5 trillion. Now, some, executives will still say different numbers, but they're almost getting more and more conservative. So some people say, oh, that means, Ripple's competitors are beating them, or, Epiphany's going to destroy them, or that's a bad thing. I'm still confident. I see no reason why XRP will not succeed or surpass all-time high. But, time will tell, guys. Do what's best for you. I'm not going to tell you what to buy or sell. I just wanted to cover this news. And obviously, I am most excited for XRP, being that payments is one of the most obvious initial use cases. There are many other use cases. Many things will be developed, but you cannot develop Twitter until the internet is ready. Same concept. We have RippleNet, we have Spring initiatives, we have all of them working on gaming, developers making XRP, the XRP ledger, easily, built upon with these software development kits. We have working on lending. RippleNet Home is kind of a little, social media marketplace for people to work together. There's just so many things going on. We can talk about, the real beast that I'm interested in is the derivatives market. We'll probably cover that a little bit in the next video. All right, now let's go over the charts for those of you that care. So we're going to show gold and silver first, and I kind of want to show you a little pattern that we can see that's kind of comparable, and then show some other cryptocurrencies. And yes, we will talk about XRP at the end as well. So right here, gold and silver, we can kind of do these R3 pivots. This is on a weekly macro review basis, and as you can see around this pivot point, took off, rejected, kind of tap back down at the wick, and then boom. Okay, same concept. Now it seems silver, I mean, whether it comes back down and, rejects and tests that pivot again, it seems like we're going up to that, $22 price point. It's been quite a while since we've been there, just on a weekly view. Now for something really fun. Now keep in mind, I mean, we did pumps like these back in 2010. We'll go over that as well, but let's just do a yearly view for these guys because there's a lot of price data. I'm going to get rid of these pivots just to show you something. And we're going to show how it actually does correlate with the cryptocurrency market as well. But this is just for fun. This is not a price prediction. This is simply showing a fib, okay? So we'll do 12-month for this guy. And all we're going to do is I already drew the fib. So we're just going to show right here. And I believe I drew one over here. Well, regardless. Okay, cool. So we got point A, we got B, C, and now D would be anywhere from, $2,200 to $2,700 per ounce of gold. All right. Now, I didn't say that's going to happen this year. I'm just showing you kind of where the trend is taking us. Should be no surprise. 2020, the US dollar, status obviously is going down. We can kind of see the financial changes coming. Markets fluctuate. It's a cycle. Everything goes round and round. Same thing with silver. A, B, we got C. All right. Now we're pushing through, and on the, macro view of a yearly standpoint, looks like we'd be surpassing that all-time high that we had, January 2011 after the financial crisis, and could all, kind of go in line with some of these crazy price predictions that people like Bo Polney make. And yes, I know a lot of people are wrong with predictions, and that's why it's called a prediction. All right, so I'll go back to weekly briefly for these guys. And I want to show you some crypto assets. So we already know that, for example, assets like VeChain and Cardano have at least touched their R3 pivot point, or have broken through altogether. So I know VeChain has busted through, I believe. Let me find it over here. So right here, weekly view. Let me add the pivots back again. And there's plenty of other indicators. This is just one single look, and we're seeing a lot of assets doing it. Now, it depends on the price history and data you have of where these pivots are drawn. I do understand that. I just wanted to show you taking off from pivot and going towards R3. All right, so we kind of busted through. Looks like we kind of came down and tapped. I don't know how long we'll trend sideways. I know, projects like Digibyte, things of that nature are doing the same. We will simply see. Just wanted to give you a look there. And now I want to show you something that Mr. Level Up pointed out to me, and I thought it was pretty cool. And we'll see if it, has any data and backing to it as well. But let me show you SNX. So this is Synthetics Network. I'm sure you guys have been, if you keep up with news, this is one of the coins, and even, Mr. Level pointed out that it's on that list of potentially being added to Coinbase, just like VeChain, just like, what was it, Lend, and that one pumped massively. They went right through their weekly R3 based off the data they have, and they're still going high. Just like, Kyber Network, KNC, things of that nature, okay? So, pretty interesting. It blasted right through, consolidated, and then boom, took off. So let me pull up another one. Let me pull up Lend, just to give you guys a look. And just things that kind of make you wonder, if this has any weight to it. Obviously, it's way too early to tell, but this is just something that we can keep an eye on. So again, went through the R3. Granted, the R3 pivot point based off price history is in a different point. I understand that. Right when the MAs cross, taking off even further. Okay? Arguably, look, we're already at the R1 over here, and as more data is drawn, we're going to get new pivots on the right, but just something really interesting to consider. All right, so let's kind of do, I know you guys are ADA and VeChain holders as well. Essentially, they're pretty similar in terms of rhyming. I'm just going to do VeChain since I'm already right next to it. I was. All right, right here. So just to kind of compare and contrast, so we busted through that R3. And this guy's already approaching that R1. So if we're approaching that R1, it seems like we already kind of tapped it before. And regardless if VeChain per se follows suit exactly like Lend, SNX, or any other token that has already went through its R3, VeChain's just one of those long-term holds for me. Not financial advice, just based off of my own research. Time will simply tell. All right. So we know, ADA, Link, QNT, a lot of projects are kind of following suit. Don't be surprised. And yes, XRP, XLM, everything is fine. Everything is good. They're following the fractal. Is XRP massively suppressed? Absolutely. Is it frustrating for someone if they have 100% of their holdings in XRP and no other asset? I'd imagine so. All right. I have my long-term holdings, no touching. No matter what, it's just not worth the risk. And I've been trading. I've been kind of bouncing between and trying to add to my main bags when, possible. So now let me show you. I'll show you one last one, then we'll compare silver to XRP. All right. So let me show you. Let's do Zap. So I know you guys have seen it absolutely skyrocketing. Sorry about all this junk here. Let me just exit out of all that. All right. So we got Zap here. Look at this weekly candle. Absolutely insane. I mean, we're not even at R3 yet. Right there, that single candle from closing, not even wicking, was roughly, 850%. Absolutely insane. If it follows suit like these other projects and goes to this next pivot or even that R3 again, I mean, I think we're already in the bull run for some of these projects. Now let's look at something like XRP. This when people get grumpy and see a project that has great fundamentals, doesn't make any sense, good news all the time, good partners, good use case, and then they get cognitive dissonance from seeing all of that and they lose faith entirely. So typical, all right? So right here, we're below the yellow 50 MA on the weekly, below the 100. R3 is all the way up there around 60 cents. So everybody's been making this prediction for quite some time now, and it is going to happen. It's bound to happen. Let me pull up silver on the left. So from a TA perspective, all right, this is where it gets fun. From a TA perspective, yes, it shows XRP should get to that, that pivot point of like 28 cents, whether it's 27 cents to 34 cents, where that wick is on the weekly. It should be there by now. And it's been absolutely forever. People have been making the call, and yes, we're still following these same types of patterns and fractals. It's just not following suit. It's really, really strange. Some people are alarmed by it, but me personally, and I know this is 100% bias, I am actually excited by that. All right. So hopefully you guys, do what's right for you. I'm not telling you to buy, sell, hold anything. Do what is best for you. I just see it as a positive piece of news of suppressed assets because as we know, what else is suppressed? Obviously silver. We know some of the largest holders in the world. We've talked about it in this channel for quite some time. Contracts, everything. I mean, it's not your physical metal. It's, it's not yours. Same concept. Not your private keys, not your crypto. All right. So I just imagine that we should be getting this soon. I know, Mr. Level Up's been saying this for quite some time. Blockchain Backer's been saying this. So don't be surprised whether it's a slow and steady or just one big candle. The funny thing is, now that I'm saying it, watch us just keep trending and being, obviously going sideways. Can you imagine what the community, I'd imagine, I'm excited to kind of see videos of FUD and silly comments on YouTube of people with XLM, because obviously, watch this, and yes, I do hold XLM, good project. I do not think that they're competing. We've heard Jed McCaleb say XLM and XRP are not competitors, yet, people continue to preach otherwise. All right, so right here, it's R3 weekly is 20 cents. So I'd imagine, based off of data that we have on like 15 other projects, that it will follow suit, whether it takes, a couple weeks, couple months. So I'd assume that, XLM, if it follows this fractal, since it's already broken through its blue line, that it's probably on its way, all right? I don't know how long, I don't know, how fast, but the funny thing is when this is at 20 cents, if XRP has not moved yet and it is at 20 cents still or even below, people are going to go insane. And I just wanted to, say that, point that out, and we will simply, see if that occurs. So we'll see what happens because this video is uploading on July 22nd. And as you can see, obviously up-to-date pricing for everything. And again, even when I showed you, Zap on the left-hand side over here, when I show you this might not be the best data because you can see there's jumps in these candles. That is lacking liquidity on these exchanges like HitBTC. That was just an exchange I grabbed since it was paired to Tether, US dollar, anything to kind of get a comparable, comparison to. But anything that I kind of don't really show too much, whether it's Tezos, HBAR, do I like the projects? Yeah, absolutely. But there's not enough data or price history to actually get an accurate weekly analysis. So there's still following, even if you go on like the micro daily and look at the pivot points in the R3s. Yeah, but those are, minute moves. And as a trader, I'm looking for, a little bit bigger of moves. All right. So just wanted to show you guys, stay positive with everything. I am very confident in this market. We are seeing nothing but good news day after day, whether you believe that TA is garbage and you think it's all about news or the other way around. I can assure you that this asset class is growing. It is nascent, meaning it is young. It has tons of underlying potential in the future. I think you guys understand Vanguard, Fidelity, NASDAQ teaming up with R3. It's not just for fun. These are open source protocols. And for the first time, we're actually flipping the investment model on its head. No more where businesses, only allow accredited investors to kind of get stocks and, get in the initial public offering. Now we have open source protocols. Anybody can get the protocols. But yes, it's very risky. Yes, it's very like gambling if you don't know what you're doing. But the cool thing is, if you bet right and businesses or anyone builds applications that actually solve real problems and are used on a daily basis, and the actual token or the tokenomics behind it support price appreciation for the network, you're in good hands. And yes, I do believe whether it's the top 50 or top 100 projects, there's going to be dozens, and I'm being very conservative there. I think there'll be hundreds of successful projects, but there's going to be thousands that go to zero long term. Speculatively, this could be part of the speculative bull run. We don't know exactly what's happening, if it's going to be a little bit of speculation and a little bit of actual utility, and they kind of just drive each other. Regardless, and what's important to note here is that the ground floor is rising. Hopefully some of the guys that know my true thoughts on this market got a laugh of me talking about utility and speculation. I'll stay quiet until then, stay away from the controversy, and time will simply tell what this market holds. And hopefully you guys enjoyed. Sorry about making this video so long, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks.